Welcome to DrupalTutor Live. My name is Wayne Aker. I am a Drupal developer and trainer at DrupalTutor.com. At DrupalTutor.com, you can take online training classes with me from beginners to advanced module development. The courses are somewhat self-paced. They're pre-recorded videos, but you also get to have live Q&A Zoom meetings with me. So you have me there to help you as you go through the course and to answer questions, unlike, just getting regular videos. That's sort of the way I do it at DrupalTutor.com. So this is DrupalTutor Live. This is a live stream. It is a little bit different than the courses, because in the courses, of course, that's prepared material that I teach. But here, I'm just working on my website live. So things are a little bit more less planned out. Occasionally I get stuck on things. And so in this case, in this stream, I'm building the next version of DrupalTutor.com, and you're watching how it works. DrupalTutor.com is a fairly sophisticated Drupal site. It has a lot of custom code, a lot of custom functionality. So as you see me build this, you can see how a real world example site is built. Okay, so if you're not already subscribed, you should go to DrupalTutor.com/live. You can enter your email address there, and I will send you an email every week to tell you what I'm going to be working on that week on the live session, so you can decide if you want to tune in. Also, all previous sessions of the live session of the live stream are posted up there. So if you are just coming in now and you haven't seen any of the previous episodes, this is episode 13. So all of the 12 before it are up there. You can watch and catch up on the things that you have missed. So, yep. So that's all. So the comment feature is active. Andy, I see you said hi. Hello. So if you have any questions as I go through this stuff, if you're watching live, then you get the benefit of you can ask the questions and I will respond in real time. So feel free to use the comment feature on YouTube. Okay, so today I'm going to continue working on the scheduled email or drip email system, which I have been building for the last 3 episodes before this. What we have right now is a system where I can create a rule to say that I want to send an email to with this text or this particular email template to students who take this course a certain number of days after the course begins, after their registration start date. So, and here, let me switch to the desktop. So again, just as a review, in case you haven't watched the previous the episodes, just the last few, where we have it now, we have these custom entities called scheduled action rules. So if I edit this one, it says 10 days after the start, after someone's registration who's taking the test session, send them the test email. And then we have a drush command that can be run repeatedly in the background that maybe every hour or whatever. And this will synchronize to create scheduled action entities, which are these. A scheduled action entity is a specific email to a specific person on a specific date. So in this case, it sent this email. This one's already completed, but it sent this email on the 10th. It sent this email to this specific user, and it did that because of rule number 1 and registration number 1. That's what this is telling me. And so the scheduled action rules are processed and they synchronize to scheduled actions, which is nice because then you can see ahead of time, like, hey, these things are going out tomorrow. If you want to browse them and check that it's right, you can do that. And then tomorrow, and then we have a second drush command that can be run again repeatedly every 5 minutes, every half an hour, whatever is reasonable, that will execute those scheduled actions when they when they've passed the date when they should trigger. So we've got that. That's all actually all working. So we could theoretically stop here. Technically, it's functional, but it's kind of hard to use. And so I want to fix the kind of hard to use part because I'm the only person who has to use this, and I don't want to do it this way. So because if you look right now, we have these scheduled actions. I mean, I could improve this listing so that it showed like the who and what and everything, but everything's kind of jumbled together. I have a lot of sessions. The sessions for DrupalTutor start every couple of weeks. So there's a lot of sessions. There's like, there's like 10 different courses or something and a bunch of different sessions. So this is going to be a nightmare to sort of figure out what's going on. So what I would like to do is be able to manage these email sequences are they're actually per course, but they could be per session. We're going to make them work per course as the next step. But right now we're going to make them work per session. And I want to manage them at the session level. So I could go to a session, click a tab, see all of the things that are going out, see the rules, the scheduled action rules for this, and then all the scheduled actions for that session. So I want to build that kind of a user interface so I can manage it at the session level and not see everything all at once. So that's what we're going to do today. Like I said, eventually we will make it work at the class level because, of course, most of the sessions are the same thing every time. So I don't need to do them per session, but that's another step. So we'll do that after we get it working at the session level. And I do need it to work at the session level because occasionally I will have a custom session, like someone will hire me to do a custom course or a customized version of the course. Of a course that exists. And so I may need to override or have messages just for that one custom course, that session. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say about what we are doing today. So, all right. So there are two ways that I could go about implementing this. And I think actually if you were on the email thing, I suggested one way, but I have since decided that's not the way I want to do it. So one way we could do this is like on a session edit form. And this is actually how it works on the current DrupalTutor site. We could have something here where with like an inline entity form where we could add the drip messages as scheduled action rules right here. Like I said, with the inline entity form, if you've used that before, which allows you to sort of create additional entities that are linked to this one with an entity reference. It's a little clunky. Like I said, that is what I do now. And what I would do in that case is that once you saved it, then I would make sure that the links worked in both directions since the scheduled action rule needs a link to the session. It works, but it's a little clunky because like if you've ever used inline entity form, you have to like click to edit and then it like loads and it pops open the form and then you're doing it and then you got to close it and open the next one and it's just kind of slow and it's not a very great experience. So what I think I'm going to do instead, and also to avoid having to worry about the synchronizing the entity references back and forth, is I'm just going to make another tab under the session, like right up here next to like view, edit, delete. I'm going to make another tab up here that's scheduled actions. And that's going to be all the scheduled actions related to this session. The nice thing about that is that's eventually when we go to the class, when we have it at the class level as well, I'll be able to see like all of that combined in one in one place so that I can see, like, even if it's not directly linked to the session, but it's linked to the class level, that I'll be able to see what the outcome is, what the result is going to be. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a custom sub tab here and a custom page and a form and some things so that we can make this user interface easier to use. So the first thing we need is we need to create a custom page that would live under the session page. So let's go back, and I think I would put this in the DT course because it's really, it requires sessions and courses in order to work. So I'm going to do this in the DT course module. I should make 100% sure that I've got the most recent code downloaded for this from the server. Okay. One thing before I begin, because I noticed this little pop-up here. If you notice this pop-up in the corner, I'm using PHP Storm. I recently installed the Symfony plugin for PHP Storm because I was working on a Symfony project. However, I noticed when I was then working on a Drupal 8 project or Drupal 9 project that the Symfony plugin is really, really great if you have Drupal projects. So even it has a paid version, but I don't have the paid version. I just have the free version, but it actually can find your service names and it does like autocomplete on your services. It double checks your services YAML files to make sure you have the class that you say you have. It does a lot of like sort of error checking and auto completion for you. So I highly recommend adding this. I'm going to go ahead and enable this on this project. But I just want to say that if you use PHP Storm with Drupal, I highly recommend the Symfony plugin. Okay. So we need to create a custom page. So let's go to the routing YAML file. And this page will be, I guess we'll say, it's the scheduled actions, maybe session.scheduled actions. Yeah, I think session.scheduled actions is fine. It just needs to be unique. And so we need a path. The path should be something under, it doesn't have to be, but it ideally would be something under the session's URL pattern. So that's /session/ID. So maybe it can be /session/ actually, why does this one not have a slash? I think it's supposed to have a slash, isn't it? Yeah, these other ones do. I think that's a mistake. That one probably should have a slash. Okay, so it's /session/ session. That is the entity type ID of the session entity and scheduled actions. All right, defaults. This is not going to be a form. I'm just going to have a page that shows all of the scheduled actions, and then there's going to be edit links that'll take you so that you can edit or add. So I don't actually need a form for the main page. So I'll use controller, which, by the way, is coming from the Symfony plugin, I think, because I don't think that my PHP Storm used to do that. It's possible also that PHP Storm has been updated. I just recently did a PHP Storm update, so maybe it's from that too. I'm not sure, but in any case, PHP Storm's awesome. Recommend it highly. Okay, so we're going to need a controller class. So let's make a controller folder. And I'm going to call this scheduled actions controller because we're also going to have a similar page for classes eventually. So I think that I'll just put all the scheduled actions related stuff in here in this one controller. One thing PHP Storm does not do, though, is give you the correct namespace when you create a new folder in a Drupal module. I don't know why. It seems like it ought to be able to do that. It's always going to be the same based on where the file is, but it never does it if you create a new one. So this extends controller base. And we're going to need some kind of method. So public function session scheduled actions. Actually, this is scheduled action rules. That's the first thing that's going to be. So And then this has to return a render array. So I'll just start with an empty array just to get something there. All right, so this is Drupal DT course scheduled. Yeah, does this? Oh yeah, look at that autocomplete. Oh, except it doubled this up. That autocomplete didn't used to work. Like I said, I don't know if it's Symfony or the new PHP Storm version. Okay, the title is scheduled action rules, because the rules are what we're going to look at first, I think, because rules are what we mainly want to edit. I don't want to edit the individual actions. And the requirements, oh man, this autocomplete is awesome. Because not like I was like, yeah, it's entity access, I think. So can it do like other things in here? No. Okay. So entity access in this case, I'm going to say if you can edit the session, you can get to this. Because if you can edit the session, you should be able to see or edit its related scheduled actions. So I think entity access session update, I think that is the correct way to do it. So let's clear caches. And let's try to go scheduled actions. Okay, so I did the entity access wrong. I got to remember what that is. I've got the syntax wrong slightly. That doesn't tell me the basic. Yeah, actually, I think that should be right. It might be that this is a custom entity, so I need to tell it what type of thing session is. Which I've done before, but I can't remember the exact syntax. Let's see. There's a way to tell it that this session slug is, yeah, this is what I'm looking for right here. Options, parameters. Let's see if adding that makes it work. So if we do options, parameters, session, type, entity, session, and that is the correct entity type. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, it's just session. Okay, let's see if that works. Access denied. All right. I am going to punt on this right now because I don't want to get hung up on it. I'll come back and figure out why that's not working later. So we'll just put something like, oh man, this again, awesome. The fact that it pre-does the permitted, I don't think this can be the Symfony plugin. I think this has got to be PHP Storm, because that it's like it just auto-completed the permissions, which is not really a Symfony thing. So I'm just going to do that. That's not a good security practice, but it will allow us to continue on. Okay. So all right. So now we need this to do something. So we're going to want to get all of the scheduled action rules that have this that are for this session. So we can pass the session in as a parameter because we got it in here that in the slug, this name has to match this. As long as it matches the variable name, it'll auto populate that. And in order to do a search, we're going to need an entity type manager. Actually, does controller base already have one? Wait, no, I need, this is scheduled action rules that I'm searching. Let's just make sure that doesn't crash. Yeah, why is it not casting? So it's also not casting the session. Do I have that like... Oh, no. There. I have that wrong. Actually, maybe that'll fix my entity access. I should check. It's a colon, not a dot. Okay, that fixed my entity access as well. So now it knows that's a... now it knows that that's the correct... It can match it up to the correct entity type. And it is didn't crash on the rule storage, so the entity type manager is already here. So rule storage, get query. The condition that I'm looking for is I want the field session should be equal to the session ID. And I have some kind of status on this, don't I? Like on these can be like enabled or disabled. Let's see, we can look in the code because I think it's a base field. So let me just confirm that. Base field, we have a status, and the status is a Boolean, so we just want status is 1 so that they can be disabled and they won't. Actually, maybe, do I want to show disabled ones? Maybe I do. Maybe in this case, I want to show the disabled and just, I will show them somehow as disabled. I will just indicate on the page that they're not enabled. Okay, so here's the results. Let's just dump out that to make sure it's getting something. We have one rule, so we should get that one rule. When we go back to the page that I was on before. Okay, so it's ID 1. That's correct. So now for each results. Actually, there's another thing I would like. Oh, I don't know if I can sort these in the query. I want to sort them in chronological time, but the way they're stored, they have like you could have 10 minutes and 1 day. So I don't know. Let me just confirm how they're stored in the database, because Entity Queries just kind of go just sort of a wrapper for that anyway. I think that I may not be able to sort them just in the query. So if I go to session, or no, I guess scheduled action rule is what I want. Yeah, because it's just written as day. So I can't really sort on that. So I will have to sort them myself. So let's just load them all, because if we're gonna have to sort them, we're gonna have to load them all. At once. And then we can sort them with a custom sort function with UA sort. Oh wait, I think one of my plugins always tells me I should use static function here. All right, so what is the sort? So I'm gonna have to compute the interval. Yeah, as Joseph, who's watching the broadcast right now, mentioned earlier, this is really just like the date math live stream. So I've somehow managed to also, again, come back to just doing date math constantly. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think we have to... I think that there is a way you can say, like... What is that called? I think it's relative date. Yeah. And this is a interval item. And I think if you have an interval item, you could apply the interval to a specific date. So you need something like... So actually, I think this might need to be like first. Something, I think there's... Because you need one, and then you could apply it to now. And then what does that give you? What type of a thing do you get back? Oh, it applies it onto the date. Ugh. So I have to just see if this is even going to work. I think that that would give me the timestamp. Then I could compare the timestamps. It's not printing anything out. That's weird. Why isn't that? I don't know why this is not working. Unless it's crashing and somehow hiding the error message. Like maybe I'm doing something bad down here. Or maybe my rules are empty. I don't know why that would be true though. Yeah, I got rules. Oh, maybe it's smart enough to know it doesn't need to sort it because there's only one. Let's go make another rule. Oh, that's good optimization. Never really ran into that before. Okay, so let's make this one like a different time period. Like this one will be 100 minutes. So it's a larger number. Actually, let's make it 200 minutes just so we make sure we're not like doing some weird text-based sorting. So that's less than 10 days, but it's a larger number. All right, so let's do this now. Yeah, okay. So it's just smart enough to know it doesn't need to sort if there's only one. So I do get a timestamp. And let's see, that is the one with the time applied, 4:30. Yeah, that's 10 days from today. So that's correct. Okay. So we can get the, so then we need to do the same thing for B, and then we can compare them. This is some ugly code. I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but like a prettier way to do it at least, but okay. So I think that should be how we write the sort function. So let's dump out the rules. That should sort the rules. They should come out. Yeah, they should be probably in one order first, and then the sort should reverse them. So we have 1, 2, and then we have 2, 1, which is what I expect because rule number 2 is the 200 minutes one. So sort function works. Though it's kind of ugly. So we have the rules, they're sorted. So now let's print them out. So we can print them out in a table. So let's see. Our table what will our headers be for this? Like the time, which is the relative time, the actually, I don't know if I want scheduled action type here. Let's just start with time and let's see, what do we actually have in here? We have session and template, but theoretically there could be other scheduled actions other than email types. So maybe what I want to do is just, we'll say rule, and then I'll print out like the teaser view or something for this. And then we'll customize that. That way, the same thing. And the reason to do it that way is if you have a different type of scheduled action that's like create a hosting account, it will have different fields, but I don't want to code that in here. I want this code to be able to show me any scheduled actions that are going to happen, whether it's creating hosting or emails or whatever. So yeah, so I want it to be more generic here. So for each rules is rule, I need, so we're going to have rows in this table. And then this is a row. The first item is going to be, no, it's going to be the rule get relative date. And this will be an interval item. So then I can call, there was some get interval, get period. And then the next thing I want to do is just render the rule out. So I need a view builder object for that. So let's get one of those. We can reuse the same one. So we can get a view builder from the entity type manager. And you get the view builder per entity type. So this will be scheduled action rule. And then with the view builder, you can view individual fields or you can view the whole entity. In this case, I want to view the whole entity. You can pass a view mode to it. I don't think we have any view modes other than default right now. So I think I can just leave it. Now, one thing that I have noticed, I think that you have to pre-render this because we're putting it inside of a table. You can't put the render array in the row array. It doesn't work. So we have to do like, oh wait, looks like render is deprecated. Let's see what I'm supposed to do now. Drupal service renderer. Okay. So let's skip the dependency injection for a minute just to make sure this works. So we need the renderer service, and then we can render this in code. And now rows, add the row. And then to the build, let's add rules. This will be theme table header rows. Okay, so there it is. You can see that it has the time and they are sorted correctly. And then it's got sort of the general printout. We can customize this by going to manage display or the template and customizing it. So we'll do that maybe later. But for now, it's okay. We can see the details of this, of each rule. The one thing I would like here are the operations links. So these are the edit, delete sort of links, with the little pop drop down kind of thing. So let's add a column for that. So I'll add an actions column to the header, and then the operations links. I think. Oh no, I think you can get them from the entity, maybe. I'm trying to remember how you do this. No. Can't remember if it's the theme function. Oh wait, I don't really want to create custom ones, but maybe it'll show me how to get them anyway. No, it's not. I'm trying to remember how you. You need it from the list builder. So we've created this controller. It's not really the list builder. So the question is, should it be? Should I be editing the list builder? Because we are creating a list here, but I feel like it's kind of a different sort of list. So I don't think it should be the general list builder. So the question is, how can I get the list builder for... Oh, you can get it from the entity type manager. Okay, that'll work. So these should probably be called rule, because we may eventually have like something else in here. So rule list builder. Okay. And I think I'm just going to dump this out real quick because I think that this is a render array. So I think I have to render it as well. Just like with the, from the view builder. But, it's not. Is there like a theme operation link or something? I've done this before, but I've clearly forgotten. So there is a type operations. These are really old Drupal 8 issues. I don't know if this is still going to be true. I'm gonna have to find that Drupal. You would think there would just be like, should be like a definition somewhere, like on API to Drupal.org or something, but it's not coming up. Here, how do I add the operations link to a custom route? No, that's not what I want. I don't want to add on to operations. I just want to show them as a little drop down button. Okay, everyone just wants to tell me how to add operations link because it's obviously trivial. All right, let me look back at what I got here. So these are just the links. I'm hoping it's going to spit out an error that tells me what it's missing, because I know it wants something else. This is definitely not going to work. No. Well, I feel pretty dumb about this. Let's look at the list builder. Maybe there's an example in here. Build row. This build operations. Nope, you got to get them. All right, well, we might have to skip that. I know there's an easy way to do this. I'm just like spinning on it. Like not able to find the 2-line thing that is necessary. Right here, finally. Okay. So it like if you dig, there is a type operations. It takes a links key and yeah, it expects links. Okay. So a type operation links is what you get from this. Okay. And it should be a render array. So then we are going to have to render it. All right. Let's see. This should work. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. Okay, there we go. So now we got a regular link. So now we can edit this from here. I think these should automatically, yeah, the nice thing is if you use the operations link, they automatically add the destination. So you can, change this, hit save, and then it should take me right back to where I was. So it already has all that built in. That's one of the nice things about doing those versus creating your own links or whatever. Yeah. All right, so we got that. So we can see what rules are here. We can edit them. Now, the one thing we would like to be able to do here is add new ones as well. So we need a button that goes to the add link, to the add scheduled action rule route. So let's go to links action, and we'll add one. We'll say and we'll add one for adding it to a session. The route name. So we can start with entity scheduled action rule add form. You can do that with any entity, I think. And it appears on what is our custom route called? Session scheduled actions. Okay, so let's clear caches, and that should show up. Now, the one thing is this is not going to preload the session number, which I would like it to do eventually. So we're not 100% there. Also, it doesn't seem to work. Let's see, scheduled action. Let's just check scheduled actions, make sure that's a valid route. It might be in here. Yeah, so we've got the add form. I think that should work. Let's just make sure this is the right route. If I go back to my controller, I can just do something like build. I think there's a theme link, and then you can have like URI or URL maybe. It's type link. That's what I wanted to check. And it takes a URL and a title. So URL create from route. Yeah, okay. So that's the reason the action link didn't work, because this is not, we have to have a type in order to, Okay. In order to use the add form. So let's get a storage object for rule type storage, and then let's get all the types. Oh wait, but how am I gonna? No, that's not. Yeah, we can do it, but we're gonna have to code the action link. Because what I was thinking is, it'd be nice if there was a button for each one, like add an email one, add a hosting one, hosting rule. Like if you had all of the types were listed there with button, that would be nice. But then I don't need it here. So let's not do this. Well, we can leave it there for a second. Let's go to the module, because this has to be done with a hook. And I don't know it off the top of my head. Drupal action link alter hook. Okay, it is menu local actions alter. And this one. Don't remember the exact syntax of how this, or the data structure for this. Oh, we're gonna get that same error. Gotta comment that out. Okay, so this shows me all the local actions. And I just do it as an array. Okay, so we want this data over here. So we want local actions. Okay, I need a rule type storage. Rule types. And then for every rule type, I want to add local actions, scheduled action rule, type ID, add session. And then the keys in here will be whatever I had before. So title, add, oh wait, this would probably be T, add type rule, where type is the type label. And then route name is this route. And then I need, I think it is just route parameters, which should be an array. The type is type ID. And then appears on is an array, session, scheduled actions. So that should make one for every type of rule. Let's dump out the local actions here after that to see if it actually did it. I'm not totally sure if this is the correct for like route parameters, but I think it is. I may need to clear caches for that to get reevaluated. Okay. Okay, obviously I did something wrong in how I formatted this. Let me just take a look at what the other ones looked like again. Oh, so it actually, does it actually need all this other stuff? Route name, route parameters, appears on. So complained about not having a class. It also didn't have an ID. So maybe let's. So this is the class that all of them had. And the ID is the same thing. I don't know if I've ever added action links this way, where I was doing, I've altered them, which may be why I've never quite run into this issue before, where I had to like create all of these. If it looks like I have to basically create all of these, even if I don't need them. Even if they're just the defaults. Yeah, it's still not really doing it, which is annoying me. But maybe it will once I clear all the errors. Feel like that should work. The only thing we're missing is a provider, but it didn't give me an error about it. check and see if there's an error message. No, those are the same ones we had before. Let's go back and just confirm that this route is correct. Because this maybe type isn't the right thing there. What am I passing class emails? Let's see if it, yeah. Oh, okay. That's probably my problem. Scheduled action rule type. Let's just make sure that I have that correct first. Okay, so that link is correct. So we can hide that. So then that's my problem probably back here. This is not type. This is scheduled action rule type. Ah, finally, there we go. Add class emails rule. Okay. So, all right. So that gets me there. Now, next thing I would like this to be pre-filled with the session that I just came from. So I think I can do that with the options, like query. Oh wait, because how am I gonna know? Yeah, I don't have a specific session here. I mean, maybe I do. If you go to another page. No, because this was giving me all of them. All right, may have to come back to that because I've already been hung up enough today. But in any case, we have the ability to add, what I'd like is this should have like a destination that kicks me back. And then potentially I could either read the destination or have some other variable there that would pre-fill this session. But I'm going to figure out how to do that offline, and then I'll show it next week. So we have that anyway, where we can add we have the buttons and they take us to the correct place. So that's good. Let's see what else I wanted to do today. We can edit, we can delete, we can add sort of. And so the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to see all of the actions for this session. Oh, actually I didn't add a tab. So, so we're back here like at this session, we have no tab for scheduled action rules. So we should have that. So that is on dcourse link task. What did we call that route? Because maybe we call it the same thing. And the route name is the same. And the base route is entity session canonical. Okay, so now I have the scheduled actions tab here. That takes me to the scheduled actions page. That's good. The next thing I want to do is I want to create another page similar to this that lists all of the actual actions and that will that lists the actions themselves, not just the rules. So we'll go. So we need to create a new route. And it'll need a new scheduled actions. The permissions should be the same. Let's go to our controller and this will be scheduled actions. And then we're going to need a lot of similar stuff here. We're going to have a build array. We will need action storage. And I don't know that we need the rule? Yeah, we may need the view builder. Let's. Oh, wait, sorry, get view builder. Okay, so now let's results equals action storage, get query. So in this case, actually, we're going to need rule storage first because we need to get all of the rules. We actually need this first. We need to get all the rules for this session. And then we need to get all of the second. Can we do it without doing that first? Actually, we might not need to do this. Let's see if we can do it without it. So then our query is, it is because the scheduled action has a rule ID entity reference. So we can do like rule ID, and then this is, I think it's entity scheduled action rule dot. And then we can use a field that's on the rule. This is like basically the same thing as a SQL join. So it's a field session, and we want the field session here. And I think that is enough. I think that should give me any actions, which are linked to rules, which are linked to this session. So let's see. So the results, okay, we got 2 results, which I think that's true. I think there were only two scheduled actions because we had 2 registrations and 1 rule initially. So I think that worked correctly. So now we just need to do the same kind of thing that we did before. This one we can actually sort. How, like, there is, because the scheduled action has a time field on it, right? Scheduled date. All right, and then so we don't need to sort it like ourselves. So then we're going to need to do something like this. I'm just going to copy this up and then we'll modify it. So we have time, action, actions, and in this case, I'll load the actions one at a time. At some point, we should put a pager here. I mean, we can replace this with a view as well. I probably should replace this with a view, but I'd like to do it in code here first. Because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do everything in views that I want to do here. Okay, so now we have the action, and we can use the view builder actually to view the field. So we could do something like the time is action view builder, view field, action get. What was the name of that field? Scheduled date. And then row. All right, that should render out that one field. Now we can render the whole thing because there might be some details. Okay, so that's just copying that same sort of stuff. And this is actually actions and clear caches. And let's run it again. Sorry, this should be view. Oh, no, sorry, render. Okay, so now we have our scheduled actions with the dates here, and then we have the rest of the information here. And we got the actions links. The only thing I'm going to do here, we got just about 10 minutes left, is I'm just going to put this so that it's the tabs. So this actually should be a sub tab under scheduled action rules. So we have scheduled actions, which actually shows me the rules. And then I want 2 sub tabs here for the rules and the actions. So we can do that here in the task. So I want scheduled actions, rules, and the title of this will be rules. The route name is the same, but the base route should be the same. Oh wait, no, I think this, you have to, for sub tab, don't you have to have parent? Is there like, let me try this. I think this, there may be something else when it's a sub tab. So in this case, the route name is, what did I say it was? Scheduled actions, actions. Let me just check if it's parent. I think it might be parent for if you're a sub tab and not the top level tab. Because see, this did something up here at the regular level, which is not what I wanted. Just have to remember what the syntax is here. Parent ID. So I was almost correct. I just didn't quite remember it. Okay, so now we have two subtabs here, rules and actions. So this is coming along. We got like a little bit I got to figure out about how to dynamically generate these links. But I will do that offline and we'll continue next week. So I'm going to wrap it up here. What we'll do next week is we'll continue this. I've got the ability to sort of add and edit them. The next big step will be to make it work at the class level and then be sort of merged together so that I can add these at the class level. And then if I want to override them, I can or not. So that's what I'm going to work on in the next episode. So until then, thanks again for watching. Remember, if you're not currently signed up, go to Drupal